Joining us now, Donald Trump, who's always had a job. In fact, the only thing that stops him from working is sleep. He needs about a couple of hours a night. Donald, how do you weigh in on this debate when it comes to Obamacare and working less to cook more?
Well, the Democrats have very much changed their tune. If you noticed when this originally came out a couple of weeks ago with the 2.5 million jobs plus, and it looks like plus plus, they were shocked and they were stunned and they were trying to defend it and they had nothing to say. And then all of a sudden, if you watched what was going on about a week later, there was just nothing they could do to justify it. And a week later, they came out and started talking about, well, isn't this a wonderful thing because people that don't have good jobs can do this and can do that. So they found a really wonderful justification for themselves and for elections, but not a good justification for the country because it takes incentive away from people to work. And we really have so many people. Look, we have a lot of people that are unemployed and they really want to get jobs, but we have a lot of people that are unemployed that have no idea of getting a job. They love the system. They don't have to work. They're being taken care of, and it's a problem. But the Democrats really put a big spin on this. And I have to say, from their standpoint, it was a brilliant job. Nobody's even mentioning. I mean, go back and look at the first 3 days. They were all in shock. They said, this is terrible. We have to do something. Some of them were saying we have to do something about Obamacare. Now, all of a sudden, they're saying, what do you main think it is?
And it's got to be a problem, too, as you mentioned, not just for the country, but for Republicans. I mean, it's hard to be the party that says, you know what, we're going to take these things away from you. You don't want to work? Say they're Democrats? Fine, you don't have to work. We're going to have a system that supports you to not even work anymore. Republicans have to have an uphill slog on this, too, right?
Well, you know, Clayton, it is tough for the Republicans, I think, because a lot of people are in this category. You're talking about a big category, and if anybody comes out against it or if anybody goes against the new Democratic line of stuff, they're going to be it's going to be hard in certain areas. Now, you know what solves it? When the economy crashes, when the country goes to total hell, and everything is a disaster, then you'll have you'll have riots to go back to where we used to be when we were great. But the fact is that it's not easy on Republicans because you have a lot of people that like their lives right now without working.
Donald, isn't this actually just killing the American dream, though? I mean, the desire to work, the dignity that comes with it? Or is this just deception because the reality isn't working and they need a different narrative?
Well, Elizabeth, it's total deception. There's no question about that. And again, I haven't seen anybody do it. But again, go back and see that that first 48 hours. It's total deception, and it's very bad. And it's certainly not the American dream. It's a different kind of American dream. It's an American dream where you don't have to do anything and you can live very nicely. Look, a lot of people live better without having a job than they do with a job. And I've had it where you have people and you want to hire them, but they can't take the job for a period of 9 months because they're doing better now than they will with a job. And many employers are having that, where you can't hire people very simply because people really don't want to work. They have another 9 months to go.
Yeah, it's strange. You need those real life stories for people who are hiring in this workplace. You also need people who long-term unemployed find out what's keeping them from getting in the game. Now let's talk about the Sochi Olympics. We're finally talking about the games. The opening ceremonies are done. It's the 4-ring circus. We did not get the 5th ring. We're still waiting for it to show up at the opening games. Evidently, the flower didn't flourish in front of Vladimir Putin.
Somebody's in trouble.
But now we have Mike McCall, Chairman of Homeland Security, saying this. Listen.
I think this particular Olympics, I've never seen a greater threat, certainly in my lifetime. I think that there's a high degree of probability that something will detonate, something will go off, but I do think it's probably most likely to happen outside of the Ring of Steel in the Olympic Village.
Your thoughts, security?
Well, Mike is a good Republican from Texas, and I hear a very good guy, but I think we should give the Russians a little bit of leeway here. They spent billions and billions. I mean, a number that was beyond any number I've ever heard.
Most spent ever.
Oh, it's frankly ridiculous. But they spent all of this money, and I think we should not be knocking them at this point. Then we wonder why they don't like us and why they're eating our lunch in every country that we're dealing with against them.
Does it
and why they don't come. I really think we should say, hey, look, they're really out there doing a job. I mean, every time I turn on television, we're showing about a guy knocking down a door because his door lock didn't work. We're showing all of these things. And I will tell you something. If I'm Putin, I'm not happy about it. And I know for a fact he's not happy about it. When I went to Russia with the Miss Universe pageant, he contacted me and was so nice. And I mean, the Russian people were so fantastic to us. I just say this: they're outsmarting us at many turns, as we all understand. I mean, their leaders are, whether you call them smarter or more cunning or whatever, but they're outsmarting us. If you look at Syria and other places, they're outsmarting us. I really think we should not be knocking that country with with all of the money and all of the guts they put into it. And hey, and I'm a fan of our country,
right?
But we have to get along with people a little bit.
Well,
and
I think you're right, Tom. But everything you know. You live your life by deadline, and they weren't finished with the Olympics. They had 7 years. I think you could. I don't think you're going too far to comment on it.
Yeah, but you know what? Let's say wonderful job, beautiful opening ceremony, and they did have a problem with the rings, and it was fine. But a lot of people thought it was a magnificent open ceremony. And when they put their guts into it, and they put a tremendous amount of in all fairness, a ridiculous amount of money, but nevertheless, they put all of that money and all of that hard work, and then we're knocking every little thing. They don't like the food. They don't like this. They don't like that. I don't know. My attitude is it's not that important. I think we should give them the benefit of the doubt and then go on and win something important later on, because they're not going to be so opposed to what we're doing.
Perhaps not bite the hand that feeds right now. If our own are there on their turf, we may.
Well, I've been watching it, and frankly, it looks very good. It looks to me like they're doing a very good job.
Okay.
We hope.
Hopefully, we'll be talking about the sports soon. Thanks, Donald.
Thank you very much.
Donald Trump joining us.
Thank you, Donald.